Nice. So we're able to put tap in the middle of our card, which in this case is a circle. Now we want to make sure that this tap here, or actually this whole card, when it's tapped or clicked, something happens. So we want to make this whole composable, this whole widget here clickable. How do we do that? Because remember, this is just a card. If you have it over, you see there's no on-click event that we can pass directly. But here's the thing. Because of modifier, we can actually invoke a clickable event. Look at this. If I say dot clickable, I can make anything clickable. If I hit enter, you can see now we have another trailing lambda. Here is where we actually add the event. Here is where we capture the clickable event. In fact, if I just come here and I want to log out just for testing purposes, I can say log D. You can see we have an option now of creating a log. Hit enter, then there's this code completion. So for log D, for log debug, we need to pass here a tag. I'm going to say tap like this, circle is there, I'm going to just circle tap like that. So now if we run this, we should be able to, when this whole entity, this whole widget is tapped, we should get this message. We can also deploy this specific preview here onto device by clicking this button there. So right, click there actually. Let's look at our emulator and we should see, hopefully soon, something. Let's go ahead and just go to code so we can save some space. Okay, there we go. It's very small. I can make it this a little bit bigger so you can actually see. Very, very small, but there it is. Now let's see if this works. I'm going to open logcat and I put tap here for our regex. So if you tap, you can see it says tap there. So each time you tap, it's going to show. Okay. You can see all of the taps are being shown there. All right, so it's working. All we had to do is just to, through our modifier, to say we want this card to be clickable. And when that happens, we want, in this case, a message that says create circle tap, which is exactly what you see. Okay, so as you can see, when we run it, it's really small. We want to make it a little bit bigger. Let's maybe make this 105. There we go. It's really large. The other thing we can do, because it's a card, if you have over again, you see we have this elevation. So this elevation, what it will do, it will elevate the button so that we have a contrast between the button and the background. Because as you see here right now, it's very minimal, the contrast. So I'll hover over to make sure we know exactly where that. So anytime after our shape, we can add elevation. So I have a modifier there. And we have shape. I'm going to just put here at the bottom, I'm going to say elevation. And give it about 4.dp like this. All right, let's go ahead. We can stop this if we want it and go back to split mode and make this that size. And let's go ahead and refresh. We should see some differences there. All right, there it is. It's hard to see. Let's go ahead and just run all together on an emulator. Hopefully we can see. Aha. Now you may ask, okay, what's going on here? Why is that we don't see anything on emulator? Remember earlier we actually created or clicked deploy preview, which just deployed this, not necessarily the app. So that is a distinction. And the other thing here, you remember that we're still constructing our circle here, and we have in a preview mode for this create circle. We're not calling it anywhere. So if I call it inside of my app, because remember my app is being called inside of set content, that should work. So here I'm going to say create circle like that. Now if I run, I should be able to see that circle. Ah, there we go. There's our circle. The circle is not what we're expecting, but it's okay. We'll fix that. So what's happening here is that because in our my app here, we have a surface and we are saying fill max height and fill max width. So the circle now is taking up the entire space because there's nothing else inside of this surface. We'll fix that. But nonetheless, you can see now that there is a distinction between the background and the button because we added that elevation here. So the bigger the elevation, the more contrast you will have. Okay, you can see at the bottom here, actually it's probably better, there's some sort of shadow happening there. Okay, now if you click, you can see now this will work. If you go back to log cat, you can see that tap has been working. Each time you tap, everything still works. All right, so next we need to tackle this problem we're having here, which is it's taking up the whole space, which is exactly what we told the surface to do. But that's not what we want. We want the button to hopefully be in the middle of the screen. So I want you to think about this. What would be a way for us to make it so that this button is in the middle of the screen?